Today we're going to be talking about two of my favorite lens filters for filmmaking. The first one is the Nisi Black Mist 1/8, and the other is the Freewell 2 to 5 stop variable ND. Now both of these filters practically live on my camera lens, and they play a key role in crafting the image that I want to get for my videos. And they're also a really valuable investment because if you get good quality filters, which spoiler alert, these both are, even as you upgrade to different cameras and different lenses, you can still continue to use these. So in this video, I will talk about the function of each filter, how they compare to competing brands, and also some of the pros and cons. Now before we get into it, I just wanted to announce that I will be giving away one free license to Davinci Resolve Studio. Now if you've seen any of my video editing or color grading tutorials, you'll know that I primarily use Davinci Resolve, and it's my favorite video editing software. And in my opinion, it is arguably one of the best color grading interfaces. And they recently added Blackmagic Cloud, which is a month-to-month $5 subscription that allows multiple people to work on the same project simultaneously. And here's how to enter the giveaway. All you have to do is like and comment on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And the deadline to enter is November 16th, and I will be announcing the winner on November 20th. And Blackmagic Design is not sponsoring this video, nor do they have any say on my opinions of their products, but they are providing the license for the giveaway, so huge thank you to them. Anyways, best of luck to you all, and let's get back to the video. All right, so first off is the Nisi Black Mist 1/8. So what this filter does, it's kind of in the title of the name, which is mist. So it takes away a little bit of the contrast, digital sharpness, and also creates this blooming effect in your highlights. This creates an overall soft and more misty look, and it almost makes it look as if you're shooting on a vintage lens. And the reason mist filters have become very popular for filmmakers like myself is because while we are getting 4K and 6K sensors and sharper lenses, it kind of takes us away from that soft, imperfect cinematic look that we're all looking for. And the reason we associate that soft, imperfect vintage look with cinematic is just because a lot of our favorite movies are either shot on film or expensive cinema lenses that have really interesting characteristics. So a nice happy medium to create that soft look with these digital lenses is using mist filters. And the Nisi Black Mist creates that perfect amount of bloom and doesn't take away too much of the sharpness. So I overall really like this filter. And if you've heard of mist filters, you've probably heard of the Tiffin Black Pro Mist, which I have used previously, and there's two reasons why I prefer the Nisi Black Mist over the Tiffin Black Mist. Reason number one is the price. So the Nisi Black Mist comes in at $109, while the Tiffin Black Pro Mist comes in around $130 to $142, depending on if you get it on sale. So that price difference, while it's not super large, I'm always happy to save a little bit of money. And I actually like the characteristics of the Nisi Black Mist a little better than the Tiffin. And the reason why is because the Nisi, it has just a little bit more bloom than the Tiffin, and I like that. So one, its price, and two, its characteristics. There's not really too much to talk about other than the price and characteristics, but this is a solid filter and I pretty much always have it on. The pros are that, of course, it creates that cinematic look, and there's really no cons other than the fact that once you put it on, you're pretty much baking that look into your footage. Personally, I shoot a lot of mini documentary style work and stuff for YouTube, so I like using these filters, but when I do shoot corporate work, I typically will take it off. So again, as long as you're intentional with this filter and you know that that's the look you're going for, it is an amazing filter and it creates an amazing look. And also both of these filters along with my gear are linked below in my bio, and those are affiliate links, so that is just a free way for you to support the channel and also get some gear that you want. So alright, and next up is the Freewell 2 to 5 stop variable ND. So this filter basically functions as sunglasses for your lens, and you're going to want to use it in most daylight or brightly lit situations. And the reason you'll want to use a variable ND filter is just so that you can follow the 180-degree shutter rule. Basically what that means is that you're going to want to keep either your shutter angle on your camera 180 degrees or your shutter speed 2 times your frame rate. For example, if you're shooting 24 frames per second, you're going to want to have your camera set to 1/48 or 1/50 of a second. And if your camera has shutter angle, all you have to do is set it to 180 degrees. And the reason you'll want that is just so you get that nice motion blur in your footage. And again, that is associated with that cinematic look. And that's because having this motion blur, it kind of makes your footage look a bit more natural and less jittery. And this is a variable ND 2 to 5 stop, so you can pretty much adjust it to whatever increment to properly expose your footage. And the Freewell variable ND filter is amazing. I absolutely love it. I overall love the look and the feel of this filter. It feels incredibly well built. I love the red ring around it. It's very smooth, and it also comes with with a magnetic lens cap as well as an aluminum carrying case. So if you're not using this filter, just know that the packaging that it comes with is incredibly protective. Now the one weakness with variable ND filters is that they do create a bit of a color cast in your footage, which in the case of the Freewell variable ND, it just creates an overall slightly warmer tone in your footage. But personally, if you're color grading your footage, especially from log, that's not a big deal for me because I already tweaked the temperature and the tint and my skin tones and everything like that. So I don't find it to be a huge issue, and the color cast isn't overwhelming on this one, and it's very minimal. Also, another weakness in variable NDs is that you get this cross polarization, which basically creates like this weird X pattern or this vignette look in your footage. The cross polarization effect is much more noticeable on cheaper variable NDs that don't have hard stops. For example, the Gobe variable ND filter I'm using right now, that creates a huge X pattern because it doesn't have hard stops, but the Freewell variable ND will stop at 5 stops. And from what I've seen, there's very little to none as far as the cross polarization that I see. I don't think I see any. So this filter I feel like is very high quality, and it also comes in at $109 again. This is one of the most affordable high quality variable ND filters. And some of the competition are the Peter McKinnon Polar Pro variable NDs and also the Moment variable NDs. So first off, the Freewell beats both the Moment and the Polar Pro in price, and it's actually quite significant. The Moment variable ND costs $169, the Peter McKinnon Polar Pro costs $249, while the Freewell is only coming in at $109. So that's a huge reason to consider the Freewell over the other filters. And now the last reason to consider this one over the other filters is performance-wise. Now I haven't personally used the Moment variable ND. I have used the Peter McKinnon Polar Pro on a couple of shoots, but personally I didn't see any huge difference between that filter and the Freewell, especially for like $150 more. And the Moment, I haven't used the Moment personally, but there is a great video by Dunna Did It. He goes very in depth and compares the Freewell, Moment, and the Peter McKinnon NDs. The Freewells pretty much outperformed the Moment, and they came slightly behind the Polar Pro, so it just felt like a no-brainer to go with the Freewell. I feel like the Freewell variable NDs have the best price and quality for their value, and that is something that is incredibly important to me for both of these filters, is that I want something that is a good price and also performs very well, and both of these filters do that. So overall, I would recommend them to you, and if you do have any questions, feel free to let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one.